Okay. All right. Go ahead.
And we are spacecraft thermal management, as you can probably tell. The project's about managing thermal stuff in space on a spacecraft. So we're going to go over the why, what, how, and when in that order. So some of the project background. So on a satellite in space, a big thing to worry about is heat, because the only way heat gets in and out in space is through radiation. So usually on a lot of larger satellites, you don't have to deal with cooling because the circuitry in there creates enough heat that you don't have to deal with cooling. But unfortunately, unfortunately for smaller satellites, you also have to worry about the thing freezing on the other side of the surface, the other side of the Earth. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to build a variable emissivity radiator, which is like a radiator that changes emissivity states to either act as a heat bank or as a radiator, depending on what side of the Earth it's on. Let's see. So yeah, so here's a picture of some stuff from last year. I don't know if you can get anything much from that, but our goal is basically to make it cost efficient, to make it cheap, and to make it fast, reasonably fast. So for our resources, we have Dr. Rafik as our main advisor, and we have Dr. Alan Klein as our main lab guy, and then Daniel Knight and Dr. Daniel Knight and Dr. John is our guy in the lab as well, and then LaRue's also as an advisor. We have about 30 members with about 2.6 average units taken. We have a few volunteers as well. Let's see. So yeah, so we usually, the way our project is set up is we have subsystems. We have the general managers, we have some purchasing managers, some safety managers, and we have our chem team split into two groups, with one on one process for tungsten and another for another process for nickel. Then we have the MA team, which is broken into the slide holder team, which makes the slide holders for these two that tested in. Potentiostat team, which is one testing criteria to make sure that the slides are working. The spectrometer team to test the opaqueness of the slide. The redox reaction team, which I think you're on, right? Yeah. And then there's the proof of concept team, which is to put together like a demo, basically, if we get some good results.
Yeah, so our timeline's split up into two different sections. We have one for just mechanical systems, which is for M&E majors, and also we have another one for chemical team, because they're running on two different schedules here. So for our slide holder team, so last year we designed a slide holder for redox reaction testing, but in this type of testing, we need to dip that slide holder into lithium chloride. So last year we created one, but the material dissolved. So this year we had a team dedicated to finding material which wouldn't dissolve in lithium chloride. So we did that. They just experimented last week and found this one material that didn't dissolve. So we're currently in the process of 3D printing this prototype here at Rapid Tech. And our spectrometer team is a new experiment that will be implemented for our process this year. We have redox reaction testing, which will be shown in the next slide. But this will test emissivity and wavelengths. The ranges of wavelengths the slides can be measured. So currently we have designed the station and the box housing the slides. We're still designing a custom LED light for this spectrometer. And currently our main task is to figure out how we're going to adjust the positioning of the slides within the spectrometer, because different parts of that slide will be a lot different. It's still currently in progress. So I'd like to pass it to Dylan to talk about potentiostat.
So for the potentiostat, we already had it pretty much soldered and put together, but it came back with a couple of broken parts on it that we have to repair. We need to repair one of the resistors, if you can see in this photo right here. It is kind of, one of the parts was lifted on the resistor, and we need to solder it back before we can continue and make sure that the potentiostat works all right.
Alright, so for redox reaction testing, we're just testing, this test just tests the color change of our slides from bleached to dark and back to bleached. So just last week, we successfully tested our tungsten slides, which didn't work last year, but worked this year. So we're going to do a root cause analysis on why these slides did not work last year. This week, we'll be beginning our test of our nickel oxide slides, which will not be blue, which will be black. It's the complement to that. So I'd like to pass it to Dwight for our.
So for chemical team, we went into some problem with the lab work. So for both team chemicals, we couldn't get into lab until the past 2 weeks. So our progress, we have been manufacturing the nickel slides for the last week, and right now we're testing different chemicals for the chemical deposition, which is either 4 grams of potassium persulfate or 3 grams, and we're trying to improve the deposition evenness, because the slices coming out, which you can see in the bottom here, the deposition has not been even, so we're working on how to get it more even. And for tungsten, we the same process applies.
Finally, this is going to be our budget for this year. Currently, we're expecting around $5,000 for the entire year. We'll be getting around $2,000 from Europe, and the rest, around $3,000 from SDP and our members who signed up for this project. So we have 2 budgets, separate budgets for our chemical teams and our mechanical team, which should be combined into this $5,000 budget. Yeah, that's basically it. Thank you very much.